Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning. It is the 17th. And yesterday we had FOMC. Let's see how the markets have fared since then. Well, that's the daily chart on the Treasury. Volume profile. Okay, here we go. So, that was the first time I'm seeing it. I knew we was going to be down. That's a lot. Okay, so after the meeting, we initially saw a move up, but they eventually faded, and now overnight, quite an extension down. And, well, we're pushing the September 11th lows, which is very, very bad. That is very, very bad, guys. We're just pushing right now as we speak. Well, they come back up quite a bit, but okay. So and it's moving quite a lot too. So we got a volatile day. My oh my. Okay, treasuries. Let's see the treasuries. Treasuries returning back up. Okay, so one of the theories has been that they don't expect the Federal Reserve to purchase more treasuries and to purchase more long-dated treasuries. I believe that's why they moved down. Since that time, we've reversed back up. Probably the treasuries are following more the equity correlation more than anything because the equities just look really, really ugly right now. Coming over into oil. Oil, we had a pretty good update previously, and now they're ranging. I think there's still some concerns about demand and the whole hurricane thing and everything else. I think a lot of this move up had to do with supply. Gold down. Okay, so I really want to watch gold here because the other thing is that not only are they not going to buy the more treasuries, or at least it seems that that's the case right now. Jerome was also talking about how the concern is still deflation. So he's made the argument that I've been explaining to you guys for quite some time now that you're more likely in the short term to have deflation. And in fact, the Federal Reserve doesn't see inflation picking up until late 2022. So what we're seeing is this whole inflation trade that we've been having for some time is basically unwinding. And one of the biggest indicators that we're going to see of that, if people are expecting inflation or deflation, is gold. So if we see further downside in gold today, then that's also extremely concerning. Here, copper also took a hit on the nose, and that's basically where we're at. And I've already missed the jobless claims here. 860 versus 850, about in line. Continuing claims, 12,628 versus 12 million. So the continuing claims slightly less than expected, but the initial claims slightly more than expected. Building permits month over month, -0.9. Philadelphia Fed in line 15 versus expected 15. Housing starts pretty much in line. So we got a bunch of news here. It was not really super out of line. The problem is that now that that's over with, probably they continue with what they were doing before. We are a little oversold here. Well, not oversold, but like everybody from overnight is gone. So this is pretty bearish looking action, but it's as we were talking about yesterday, it's already come down quite a bit. It's a little hard to jump on it right here. I think I'm going to give it a little bit of time, see if we get a better spot. I could try a reversal here. That would be like super scary, though. That would be super scary. I don't think I want to do that. If I was bullish, then I would be all over that. New Squawk. Initial claims slightly above expectations, although the overall trend of declining continued claims continues, although the decline is sluggish. What's this? I said Delta. Delta Airlines announces upsize of SkyMiles financing to $9 billion. Okay. Noam Chomsky, the world is at its most dangerous moment in history. U.S. professor warns that the climate crisis and the threat of nuclear war and rising authoritarianism mean the risk of human extinction has never... Oh, you know what? Who gives a fuck what Noam Chomsky thinks? Seriously? Why Trading Floor Audio was retweeting that. Nobody cares what he thinks. And Tifa cares, I guess. Whatever. What are you doing? Let's see here. What does Anthony say? That's interesting. He was saying that if he wants to go long, he has an execution range and he wants to get long at the top of that execution range. Which sometimes I do and sometimes I do the opposite. Kind of depends on what I think is going on. Okay. Alberto says Albie. Okay, cool. I'm going to eat some bacon here. I got bacon. Good morning, Ace. I'm just looking at the spreads here, and the spreads are interesting because I would have expected, because they don't expect the Federal Reserve to buy as many 30-year bonds, that maybe the 30-year would not be up as much as the rest. And so that would cause some steepening, right? We're going to buy these ones. Am I reading that right? Your Ninja's taking forever to load this morning? Oh, we might have a bad workspace. I tell you what, Ninja it really is the best platform, but it's got its share of problems. So the treasuries aren't necessarily showing this that the treasury purchases as necessarily a significant factor. They seem to be reflecting to me at the moment more just that they see equities going down.
Ace Trades says, what is the symbol for the treasury? L.
So the ones that you ZB, ZN, and ZF, right? ZB for B for bond, N for 10, and F for 5. You see how that works? Because I guess ZT was already taken. ZT is 2. T for 2.
Ace Trades says, would you say you take more trades on 5 years? ZBZN. Ace Trades says, do that again. ZB for bonds. ZN for what?
For 10. The 10 is the one that I usually execute on. But if you're not using order flow, you might have more success with the 30. So if I just come over here, looking at like the 10 year, 10 is usually where I take it, right? Look at how aggressive that is. My oh my.
Ace Trades says, okay. Like long 177.09.
Wait, is that the? Oh, that's in the 30-year. Yeah. Well, and so I was just pointing out. Look at how far above. Like any long has just been obliterated. To get that kind of move, we are getting like tons of new money into them. Here in the 30-year, long 177.09. I'm personally not comfortable with that at the moment. I don't know. So we haven't stopped everybody out in the 30-year. You can see the way that this is going, right? We should consider spreads, but then when we look at the spreads, I'm looking at those through my volume profile here. You can see that we are.
Ace Trades says, time to make the waffles.
flattening. Okay. Which means that they are buying it. When you're buying, you probably do want to buy the 30-year. So, But I think here that for me to do a trade, I think that I would have to wait for a pullback. The risk is just too high at this point. There's way too many people on it. And I think that what might happen if I were to lay out some scenarios here in the E-mini, I think what's going to happen is we're going to bounce. And I don't know if we make it higher or not. If we do, we could get up to these single prints here. And then maybe roll over later. And that might happen tomorrow. It seems to me, though, that probably we are going to roll over at some point. But it's just they're a little too far. When you're down this much, they often will need a bit of a retrace. I think I need to come over here and add something for spread somehow. I want my original spread indicator on here. Oh, is it not over there? Where does it go? Did I put it in TGN? Yeah. Spread CB. I think that we're at 5-3 now, right? Get the knob on there somehow. Okay. It is flattening. This is going up more than this. Which means that it's flattening, but because the higher end of the curve is coming down. Does that make sense? Like, here's the interest rate curve, something like this, right? And what's happening is it's turning into this. Everything's coming down, and the 30 is coming down more, right? Which is really quite bearish. But if it had to do with them
Mark
thinking
Scheinfeld
that,
says good morning.
hey, good morning, Mark. How are you doing? A newer name. If it really had to do with the purchase of the treasuries, I don't think that this would be moving as much, right? They would be selling this, frankly. Like, these could go up and they could sell this, and then what would be happening is it would actually be steepening like this. It would be doing something like that. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. I guess it could still turn out that way, but at the moment, I don't know if it's really clear what's going on. Also, we should keep an eye here. Like, the dollar did strengthen quite a bit, but it's pulled back, so we might want to wait for the dollar to be doing something as well. Donald Trump says my people got outplayed on the coronavirus public relations battle. Well, okay. I do kind of feel like that his team, like Fauci and all of them, just weren't very good with public relations. I haven't heard anything from my new squawk. That's because it was disconnected. Okay. Yeah, I was late. Salim was telling me I was late. I was. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the treasuries aren't coming back at all yet. Also note that the liquidity is I'm not going to say significantly, but maybe a step higher than it was earlier in the week. So that also suggests to me that a lot of people are piling into treasuries to protect their profits. I don't know. I guess I'm still just thinking through it. It seems to me that the market is moving more on deflation concerns, right? That there was a bunch of people getting just, buying up whatever they could in the equities.
Ace Trade says gotta open the room. Have a good day.
Hey, see you later, Ace. A bunch of people getting into any stock that they could because they were concerned about inflation. And then when Powell yesterday said that they're still concerned about inflation and that deflation, they're concerned about deflationary pressures and that they don't see inflation picking up until possibly late 2022. And until then, they're going to keep rates at zero. That, I think, really killed that trade. And that must be what we're seeing is that's unwinding. So you would expect to see, a lot of the NASDAQ in particular get just crushed. But I would also think that you would maybe see a little bit more dollar strength than we have. If we're really still concerned about deflation, right? I do see, by the way, the 30-year is really pushing. The 30-year is really trying to sell and come back down, but it's just floating there at 09. There's also some pretty large orders active out there in the 10-year. See, a reversal trade long makes sense here. And I think it actually may work out, but there's gonna be a lot of drama in the meantime. Look at the way that they're coming down there, and when the Nasdaq starts coming down, you see that. So maybe it turns back up, but I'm just asking: is it worth the stress? You know what I mean? Apparently, financial juice is becoming too popular. They just said that light users with voice are having some issues. I was like, oh. That must be though they turned on the delay and stuff, huh? Okay, that was ugly. Whew. Whew, what was that? I think Cudlow may still be speaking. Like this is where I would do it. Right, probably right here. I'm gonna miss it. Even just thinking about taking along in this makes me feel stressed out. uh.
Why Trader says hey everyone.
Hey, how are you today, man? Man, that was a real dump. I don't actually see, well, oil is moving down, by the way. I don't actually see anything actually moving out there other than the E-mini. It looks like just a freak washout move. White House, COS, what does that stand for? He's chief of staff, yes. Trump is ready to embrace a $1.5 trillion relief bill. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows told Fox on Thursday that the United States President Donald Trump is ready to accept the relief bill proposal worth $1.5 trillion. Is that why they sold? Nah, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it's not happening. They can't get it through Nancy. Here's why you need Nancy. You need Nancy to say, okay, we're going to help Americans and
Gary
leave
Rich says
the whole...
markets are very skittish like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. The bias is to the downside temporarily.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying, Gary, that it's so bearish they've washed
Trader
out
says
everybody.
CB kept rising from yesterday, did not braille the low.
So I believe that until we start the regular session, there's a pretty good chance of some upside here.
Why Trader says the open asterisk.
Yeah. CB kept rising from yesterday, did not break the low. Yeah, the Treasury is reversing back up. It's very interesting, isn't it? Well, I think what's happening is, I think the Treasury guys came in and said, well, this is a sell because the Federal Reserve doesn't sound like they're going to buy as many treasuries. But then everybody else didn't care because they needed to hide their money somehow. And so we moved back up. That appears to be what's going on. That's where I'm saying, like, I don't see any indication on the treasuries that they're ready to steepen it all off of what the Fed just said. It's all just flattening and guys bailing into the treasuries, dumping equities and buying treasuries. I don't really see anything else really moving. I mean, there's been a little bit of dollar strength, but it's not strengthening here. We had that dump in like I said, we could maybe go long here.
Gary Rich
But
says the
it would be
markets drifted up
stressful.
and VIX went up as so, until the last hour VIX up markets down. Skittish indications.
Yep. See, there's a good chance. I really do think that there's a good chance it's going to go up, but it's going to be like really choppy down here. It's way too hard to hold. Not worth the stress. That's probably a much better play to just let it do that and then try and short it somewhere further up, right? I may not be able to help myself and maybe we'll take one. I don't know. Okay, oil is reversing. There's a good amount of volume trading down here too, but it's not actually moving the numbers for me. So that's interesting. So now they're doing a little bit of battle here, it looks like. The NASDAQ kind of thinking about those lows, but not doing it. Well, there you go. Did it and then reversed hard. Oh man, the NASDAQ is being so influential right now. Look at that. We're moving 4 ticks at a time? What the hell? So I think we're going to need to pull up our stocks here because I'm wondering if it's Apple is what's causing that. I hate how it opens up over there. Jeez. Oh man, Tesla get destroyed. It's down big time overnight.
Gary Rich says unless buyback come back say 800 bill or more. Nothing looks or says we make consistent new all-time highs. The data is not
totally.
strong enough. It's barely enough.
Igor was saying in chat that he thinks that he could be short into the end of the year in the equities, and I don't know if overall that will be down that much, but I think that he's probably right. I don't see much of a reason for overall for the equity indexes to really push those highs anytime soon. I do see a bit of a pullback coming on in here, but okay, I don't necessarily see anything happening in Apple, so I guess Apple's not going to show me overnight action. So Tesla does though, and look at Tesla. That's great. Maybe it's something on the chart. Show extended hours. Aha. Okay, so Apple is moving around. That may be what's causing it to whip. We were getting a good long there. It just didn't go. It's okay.
Why trader says seller coming into ZB may be a reversal?
Yeah. You missed it earlier, but I'm not so sure that ZB can really hold where it is. They're gonna have to come. The treasuries are all past their point. Like, we would have to have another really bender move back down in the equities for the treasuries to take another step up. Okay, well, they are doing it. They're definitely doing it.
Why trader says I did not understand what you said. You talk with complicated words.
Which part am I talking about? I'm sorry. I should work on that, to be honest. Because I know that there's a lot of you guys that English isn't your first language, and I can do better.
Why trader says ZB. Ace Trades says up 93.75 on ZB3 contracts.
Did you take it? The treasury looks like it's flipping around though, Ace. They could sell all the way back to 177 even, if not 176.16. But short to 177 even is probably a good trade.
Why trader says Ace, how did you do that?
Well, he took them when we were at like 10. I don't know. Did you take it off when it got 14? I know. Another thing you got to remember with the treasuries is that even 4 to 8 ticks is a good move. like your 2-point move, your 2-point trade in ZB is like the equivalent of 2 ticks in ZB.
Why trader says yeah.
It's tight. Okay.
Ace Trades says there are some buttons I pushed on my mouse.
Okay. There we go. I don't know what happened there, guys, but maybe OBS died or something. Our treasuries came all the way back. It worked. It would have worked. I'm so mad. Where was I in at? 18. Yeah, I would have gotten it. Even if I had taken it from the first one, I would have gotten it. Unfortunate. Well, there could totally be more in this, actually. Oh, and you guys are all back. Welcome back, guys. Don't know what happened. So weird. What about this over here? Is this catching new messages? Yes, it is. Cool. It looks like they're going to decide to turn back down again before testing the average true range. Guess so.
Lobo Trader says good morning Seth and folks, hope all is well, slightly smiling face.
It's going okay. Yeah, I don't know what the deal was with the stream a little bit earlier, but we're back now. I like restarted OBS and I think we're fine now. I didn't hear a sound earlier, and I didn't get like a I don't know what the deal was. I heard what sounded like an error, but then I never saw any error message, so my leg is bouncing like crazy right now. Seven minutes to the open.
Lobo Trader says quiet some emotions at the street and at Bloomberg.
Yeah. I have to say the overnight action has just been so incredibly bearish. Like when we were down in here, people were they were swinging around everywhere, and it was just like a slow trickle down. It was like everybody just feeling. So you need to close above this like 24 here to really flip it. Five minutes to go. We do have some bill auctions today. Look at that. Yeah, I'm really upset because it was a good trade. And I got out somewhere around here. Popped up and then it really went. Now maybe I would have taken it again if we weren't messing with the stream, but whatever. The treasuries really are coming back. So far, though, this all just looks like pullback action. Like I'm not seeing like wider overall moves in any of the global monetary flows. Barclays, latest global mega bank to suffer trading floor outbreak. Bet. What Robbo says with no hikes until 2023, here are some hobbies the Fed can pursue for the next 3 years. What? $3D printing, building board/tabletop games, calligraphy, dance. Oh yeah, let's get Jerome Powell on Dancing with the Stars. Brilliant idea. News Squawk says name a more boring currency pair than USD JPY, and he says that aged badly. They are moving pretty. They are moving around quite a bit here. Well, they moved around a lot overnight. I didn't know if here in the morning that's really been significant. Okay. So they come back a little bit. There's a little bit of a long impulse, but they're struggling against it. Ah, a little bit more long. IC welcomes Amwell to celebrate its IPO. By the way, did I get any new ones today? No. All right, well, here they go. Initial impulse down, which should be no surprise. Didn't really get too far yet. Actually, some absorption there. I am going to try something there. I'll just leave that just in case. They might try a little bit more. Not actually seeing the cumulative delta change a whole lot here on this open. Ouch. Mark Meadows talking about how there's just no interest in an airline bill right now. Okay, well, there was a good break there, but And a little bit of a stop run in my favor, but hasn't really continued yet. Yeah. That's a lot of volume there. Woo. NASDAQ all over the board.
Salim L. Wuthering says yo dude. Salim L. Wuthering says dude. Y Trader says 3 La Slam Tech.
Hey, how are you? Well, there's a lot.
Salim L. Wuthering says don't drunk trade dude.
I don't drink. There we go. Buyers winning this. Still quite the battle. Ooh, I'm actually think this could run up quite a bit.
Salim L. Wuthering says no, I mean when you look into the chart too much you get drunk on trading.
Yeah. Well, sometimes when you really stare at the DOM too long, it just kind of messes with your emotions, I think. Messes with your mind. It gets you into a spot that makes you stubborn.
Anthony K says hi guys.
Hey, how are you? How are you, Anthony? How have you been? Haven't seen you for a few days. Look at all that volume there. That's just a lot of volume here today. A lot of volume here today. I see some positions all the way up to 33.40 that they could take out. Whether or not the buyers can actually hold it and
Alex
new
says,
buyers
did I
come
miss
in.
something? S took a nosedive.
Nah, I don't. Well, I mean the overnight they did because they didn't like what the Federal Reserve said. I think what you're seeing is a lot of this inflation trade that we've been having for the last 2 months or so is unwinding. But we're really, really oversold here, so that's why I'm looking for a long at the moment. Okay, well.
Salim L. Wuthering says yeah, my head feels like a rock. Alex Dawoodian says do you know anything about the Renaissance Medallion Fund?
No.
Anthony K says I never expected this much action last night.
No?
Salim L. Wuthering says at E-Trader you dude.
Did you guys not watch the market after the Federal Reserve meeting, man? The way that thing turned over is just What? Dave Portnoy says, looking forward to discussing on Mad Money. The PS Sports book launches tomorrow. He's going to be on Mad Money. Wow. I'm so jealous of this man. To be fully honest with you, I think he's way cool too. He's a little irresponsible with what he says when he's streaming, but I think he's really cool. He's got that factor that I don't think I will ever have. I will always be a complete dweeb. That's my thing, and that's okay. Okay, so
Let's not make this personal,
fairly
says who's this
significant turn.
Seth?
We're talking about Dave Portnoy.
Salim L. Wuthering says who is that guy?
He's CEO of Barstool Sports, and he's going to be on Mad Money tonight. Should be super interesting. Okay. Well. So that comeback or whatever it was a little extreme, and then they just went out and stopped him out almost immediately. Sounds like Donald Trump's still poo-pooing the TikTok deal.
Salim L. Wuthering says Dave nose look like a lamp.
His nose looks like a lamp. But didn't you know that big noses are in right now? Yeah. Like the rich, he's got the nose, man. It's a popular thing right now. Because when you're doing like TikTok and you have like really poorly compressed video, you know, your nose just kind of disappears unless you got a really characteristic one. My nose doesn't look that great on TikTok. Okay, so there's still a lot of fight in this tape. So if I was a short, I'm not sure I see why this is the spot where I would really want to be digging in, and I would be concerned for them. Like they're at 33.30. It looks like somebody's trying to do something. Do you see how they went through it and then he shoved it back down and put a big offer on it and is iceberging and stuff? They're gonna push through him. Yeah. Well, he's still holding it.
Salim L. Wuthering says but he's got that nice tan though.
He's got that nice tan though. I know he's pretty white. When I made that thumbnail for the video that we did trying to get his attention, I had to mess around with the color of it a lot. Well, it looks like the 33.30 guy is trying to hold it still. Okay, they pushed it down. And flipping back up. See if they just get through, if they just blast through it. Okay, I'm not seeing, well, yeah, I'm a little bit. Yeah, see like that? Now he's doing it the other way. Now he's doing it the other way. See, now they're going to push it into the highs, and I think you're going to get some more stops. Well, I could probably do just about anything, to be honest with you, but there's definitely a clicky around there.
Why trader says bounce on VWAP then goes down.
Okay, so short's still not giving up on that. And a little bit more extended of a sell that time. See if buyers are able to dig their way out of that again or not. Okay, now he's trying to do it at 27 too. Yeah, look at that. This is exciting.
Live action says that inverse thing with the notes need a little jitty up to keep pace with the indices.
Well, could have gotten way more out of that, but oh, look at that.
Salim L. Wuthering says I have no role model except Trump. I want to look and act like him when I grow up. Shove random president and rip their hands apart. Why Trader says, what are you looking for, Seth?
All sorts of things. So I'm at the moment, I'm just really focused on this Dom over here, how much volume is trading and seeing if they're able to get above this 27 to 30 area. Because there was some they were really digging in on positions. And you see how when they get to the higher end of the profile here, that there's a lot more absorption, right? So there's definitely some shorts out there that want to short it up here. The problem is that there's just already a lot of people short. So they're taking on a lot of risk in a spot that I don't think really actually has that high of a probability. That's why I'm kind of thinking that they're going to come up here above the 33 and just get, blown to bits. But you see, he's not giving up on it yet. And part of it is I'm trying to just protect my profit, what I've got.
Alex DeWudian says you think to go long at 3,334.
I don't know about that. I mean, the lower that I can get long at, the better, but geez. You see, it's just a lot of fight. So that's why I was I'm kind of been taking littler ones here now because of what it's doing here. I'm like, well, I think I can assist them a little bit. I think I want to get rid of this one because okay. Oh man, they're really hitting them now. Look at that. Ooh. Ooh. Go, 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 go. Squeeze them.
Gary Rich says, is he in deep thought or constipated? Why Trader says, so I want a custom OL indicator but I don't know which time frame to use as I have Ninja Trader. I noticed that we do not have the same open on ZB. Vlad Stolyarov says, welcome to bear market.
Open. No, I use the regular open on my Dom. That's the floor open.
Live Action says, nice thing with the micros is they can go 20 handles against you and you still haven't taken more than 100.00 in risk and hard for move to sustain more than 20 point without corrective move.
Yeah. I'm just a little frustrated here because I'm just not seeing anything conclusive yet.
Vlad Stolyarov says AAPL trying to save market.
Well, like I was saying, I don't even think that this is saving market. Like I really think that like a reasonable pullback is going to take us to 33.40. Okay, now they are busting those guys' balls big time. Awesome. So I don't know if my explanation at the time really made sense to y'all, but
Gary Rich says the bias is to the downside. Look for short opportunities.
Yes, it's so right here at 33.40.
Vlad Stolyarov says I will go long maybe for scalp.
Come on.
Vlad Stolyarov says 3,345.
Okay. That was the spot right there. Yeah, I should have waited for 40. There you go.
Live action says clean easy breakout to downside in ing this am.
Okay, so let's come over here and where is our... Did I close it? I guess I closed it. Or maybe it crashed. Fidelity, where did you go? So that was a really good technical trade. I guess I missed out on probably 5 points of it, but I made 2 back, so it was really
Vlad
3.
Stolyarov says now it might pull back if weak S.
Cool. But yeah, I'm with you, Vlad. This is like, I mean, it's really hard at this point to really make a prediction because that was some serious momentum, right? So here's the issue: this is a spot to go short, right? Like, whoever it was that was going
Vlad
short at
Stolyarov says from
33.30,
yesterday.
whoever it
Vlad
was that was
Stolyarov
going,
says we know what happened.
yeah.
Vlad Stolyarov says so why would they fill gap?
You think they were going to fill the overnight gap? I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm not looking for them to fill the overnight gap. Man, I mean that would have to be all the way up to 73. That would be a huge move up. Well, they might do it.
Vlad
Who
Stolyarov
knows?
says I am not thinking they will.
Who knows? But just come back over here.
Vlad Stolyarov says maybe 65 max.
Okay. So if I could talk to whoever it was that was going long there, here's what I would say to them. Look at how much we were down. Everybody overnight was short. This was just kind of a flattening off, and then everybody was going short into the open as well. Okay, so we're going to get a pullback. I think that was a reasonable call, pretty good probability call that we're going to get a pullback. So the guys that was short, they saw that, and they said, I want to go short right here below this pivot, right? I want to get short below this pivot and continue the downside, okay? What's the problem with that? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, guys. These things, they can go through them whether they want to or not. It's not very predictive. If you want to take a short, you want to find the spot where everybody has to flip, right? So at this point right here, all of those guys that are short who are making money took it off and are maybe break even. Okay. So there's a spot to go reverse, right? And then if not there, then there's a spot to go reverse, right? And then if not there, then here's a spot where literally every short is losing money or was losing money overnight. I guess at that point, we would probably have this number would probably go a little bit further. Okay. But instead, what they did was they made a thing right there. So now, because they did that, and they were so dumb, look at where they're short, that little dotted line. I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom in there now. Okay. You see that dotted orange line, right? That dotted orange line should be like way up here, right? But because they decided to take all of the contracts down here, now the buyers have an advantage and a chance, at least, to try and push higher to this spot we were looking at, to try and push higher up to 54. What happened there? The shorts were stupid. You know what? They got me. They scared me out at one point. They pushed it back down. It's just, you know, those are the ones you want to look for, man. So look for a spot where the people are like really, really trying to hold a spot, and it's not a good spot to try and hold. And the E-mini in particular likes to just destroy those, man. Now that said, we got out at around just shy of 40, and look at that. Did pull back. We could try getting long again somewhere in here. Now let's come back over here. Oh, we are back over here. I'm looking. Okay, so Tesla took a big dip overnight. They're still above 400, which to me is just insane. They're actually only down 3%. Really? They should I just think that Tesla is so ridiculous. They should be down so much more. I can't believe that Tesla is still over 300, to be honest. Okay, why do we not have Apple on here? Let's fix that. Okay. Apple. Ooh, they came down quite big. Apple is going to try and fill that gap for sure. So that's another one, is that like maybe some of these individual issues might gap fill, but the E-mini overall, maybe not. Apple needs to stay under 109 for short. They're risking it. Yeah. See, I don't necessarily see the big volume coming in here anymore. This is a little bit, but not like it was. Let's come back over to this. Oh, you know what? I need to rename this. Okay. I want the footprint. Wow, there's 1,500 at 33. Yeah, they got screwed. How much delta is it overall? It's only 3,000 contracts long. Interestingly enough. Huh. Oh no, but that's just this in the last. Oh, no, we should start another bar here now, right? Oh no, these are our bars. That's why. Okay, so this was 7:30 to. This was 6:30 to 7:30, and this is 7:30 to 8:30. So this is the whole open. Really, that line should be like right here. E-Trader says, Seth, do you know a really good course about trading futures? You know, I don't really go out and buy education and stuff. I think that if we ever get to the point where the channel is really, really doing well, and I don't know what to do with the income from the advertising on the channel, then at that point, I think I would start buying courses and reviewing them for you guys. But until then, I think for order flow, I really, really like no BS day trading, and that's how I learned. And I don't necessarily think that the setups or the strategy in there is necessarily the way to trade or anything like that. But it's the best way to understand the game, right? The game that is going on in the DOM. That's the best way to get like an introduction to what the games that are going on there. Like this whole thing that we were seeing at 33.30, right? As it would be, you wouldn't understand that without having read that okay, they're going through there, he's shoving it back, and then he's sticking a big offer there to try and scare them away from trying to hit into it. He's trying to get them to sell it there, and he lost, right? 33.45 flashing. I don't know. There's a little bit more volume going on there now. Maybe they will do an actual like sell now. I don't know, because that's pretty aggressive right there. That's pretty aggressive right there. I think for me though, well, I would like to keep going actually, but I'm going to need a really good setup. Anyways, I hear good things about the Axia guys, but I've never taken them. I myself am writing something. Haven't done a whole lot of work on that. I should do that. I'm definitely going to be doing some of that tomorrow. Also, God, I'm going to try and record the video this weekend. Feel like I'm on a roll, so I want to do my. It's a video about trading educators. So, thank you. I saw some videos of no BS trading, but now that you recommend it, I'm going to see the videos. Yes, the videos on YouTube are great to watch. I don't know. I just that book that he has and the videos that he has about it are just I just enjoy them so much. I've read that book over and over again. I love it, and it really, the thing is that he's the first one to come in and really kind of like lay the truth down that, like, you know, I can show you what's going on. I can't necessarily guarantee that you're going to be successful, but if you at least understand what's going on, you might stand a chance of being able to find an edge in it, you know? And that's the approach that he thinks. He's giving you a tool or a skill rather than just a strategy, even though it is kind of written like strategies. I love that book. You can't tell. I love that book. And I love John Grady. John Grady is the guy that wrote it. NoBSDaytrading.com. You should give me an affiliate link. I don't think he has anything like that. So I will promote it out of the goodness of my heart. But if there was an affiliate link, I would totally abuse the hell out of it. Because I love that course. Oh, by the way, we have a link. It's not an affiliate link, but if you guys ever go over to EdgeClear, we have a page over there now. So if you sign up through the link that we have on the announcements page of the Discord, and I'll paste it in here for you guys too. I'll paste it over here for you guys too. Where is the announcements? Copy link. So yeah, if you move over to EdgeClear, you use this link, then what it will do is it'll let them know that you came in through our channel. So if we ever do something in the future, like an edge pool, we kind of did something like that where we just got everybody that was there together. And I think a few opened accounts, but I don't know if they really had enough to get the discount yet or what. But if we do a promotion like that in the future, then they'll know, and they'll say, hey, do you want to join this group now that they've created it? So if you go over to EdgeClear, I would recommend you do it through that link. I don't get anything for it. You know, the laws in the US, you can't do introducing brokers or affiliate links with brokers or anything like that. But it will associate you with us, and it'll let them know how many people are actually coming in from here. So yeah. And I'm hoping at some point, if Financial Juice ever gets those, I think I will use that as well, because I have really. Why does it say? Oh, I wrote that open. Deleted. Okay, so it does look like they're heading for the 55. Think I should have held it? That was another $50 in that. When you go to EdgeClear, what is it under? I'm not sure. What do you mean? I think you can pick from a couple of different FXCMs if that's what you're asking. It's kind of interesting. I mean, maybe I should make a video about this, but I just don't feel like I need to, because the brokers have videos about it. So probably the best example is if you go to Optimus Futures, they have a YouTube channel, and one of their videos is, it basically explains what the broker does. And we were talking about this in chat too. Like, you got to realize that the FXCM is the one that actually like has access to the CME. and is giving you access to the exchange. And then, of course, your orders are actually being routed and sent through the data platform. So then what is the point of the broker? Well, in this case, FXCM deals with so much volume. They really just can't deal with the support. So in reality, in futures, your broker is really about support, is what I'm learning. So if you want your broker to do stuff for you, like have really good support, maybe give you some education and kind of some things to help you out and keep you trading, then you can pay a little bit in commission for it. But otherwise, you just don't want to pay anything. And I think EdgeClear in particular is a case where you really get the best of both worlds. Like, they have a really solid team. They really do. I mean, these are people that are well known in the industry and well respected. And the commissions that they're offering are really cheap too. Like, for a beginner, it's just as good as AMP. So that's why I like them. And then you get the chance to do the group discount, which is even better. There's probably another 5 points in this. I don't know if I could just straight up buy it here, but they ain't going for that gap fill. If they filled that gap, that would be something else. They could do it. They could just stop out everybody that went short last night. Why did you say that we would go back? So maybe I misrepresented that, because I didn't want to necessarily say that we were going to go back, but I was just pointing out that there's certain inflection points at which people's average positions equalize in certain places, and those are higher probability locations in my experience for a reversal. So is a little bit safer of a spot to look for a reversal. So one of them was there at 33.40, and another one is at 33.55, 55.60, somewhere in that range. So when we were at 40 and we got a really, really quite a hard sell there for a moment, I thought, okay, maybe they really are going to do it. But you can see that they held it and almost immediately pushed higher. So at here, it's really hard to pick a really good spot, but it does look to me like probably there's another 5 points. Now, there could always be news or something else that could come in from it. But just from the technicals, I'm looking for it to kind of range here a little bit at 50 and then go to 55.60. But when I say those things, I wouldn't be thinking like, oh, there's a really high, Seth thinks that it's a really high probability of going down here. I wouldn't look at it like that. I would look at it like, okay, a certain group of traders are break even or stopping out here. Right? So just because you got a stop out doesn't mean that it's going to reverse. In fact, a stop out might be a really good reason for it to continue through. Right? So do you see how the volume has changed there now that we got to 33.55? It's because the shorts are stopping out now. Because basically above that point, if you're a short, you want to just bail right there. This is like if you, let's say that you had gone short overnight. Okay, you're a market maker, you go short, you're taking prices all over the spot place, and then you go, okay, well, this is just going, I'm just going to let it run. And then you let it run. Maybe you take some profits down there, and eventually it comes all the way back to your break even. Do you let it go against you? Probably not. You just take it off for break even. That's what just happened there. For at least theoretically. It's all a model, but it does seem to explain some of the action out there. So let's say that let's just call it a theory, but That's what I believe just happened there, was all of the shorts just went out break even. If they're able to push it a little bit further, then you're basically talking about like literally like 33.62 or so. There's literally nobody that's short that's making money at that point. That's like in the best case scenario, they've all lost money. So that could be a spot for us to try and go short after that. But like I said again, then we have to start dealing with the momentum issue, right? So that day traders like to follow momentum, they like to buy things. We're definitely getting some very strong upside momentum. They're going to want to fill the gap. So that's the kind of the problem now with the short.
Kevin Wimmer says who knows if the people 9 hours before are still short. I mean, they could have
Good
been out like
question.
during the open. The first 30 minutes of open had almost as much volume as the last 6:30 hours London session.
That's a good question, Kevin. So here's how I'm doing it. I'm making an assumption, right? I'm making an assumption that certain traders trade a certain way. And you can even kind of make different assumptions. Like you can say, okay, if everybody traded like this, then what would have happened based on the order flow? And then if everybody traded like this, what would have happened based on the order flow? And then you can kind of look at the different scenarios and you can make a pretty good judgment about where it's actually going. So when I look at it, I can see that on that last move down, that very last move down just before the open, the chart suggests to me that shorts did take profits. Right? I should add that the numbers I'm seeing right now suggest to me that the shorts are continuing to add contracts on, despite that move. Gaps will always be filled. It's just a matter of time. That's not true. I've tested that, actually. I tell you what, especially in the Treasury, it is exceptionally rare. It is exceptionally rare that they don't fill a gap at some point. But there is at least, I think when I did it, and I went back to like 1990 or something, there was at least 5 times where there was a gap that never filled.
Kevin Wimmer says my assumption would be that the shorts before that overnight level relied on that level to hold, and puked when it didn't. I think the short guys from the night are already out, at least with most.
Yes. Well, so here's the assumption that I make, Kevin. If you go short on a limit order, so let's say that I went short at 33.50, okay, then my assumption is that, oops, didn't mean to click that. Let's save ourselves from doing anything crazy like that. Okay. So if I go short with a limit order, my assumption is that you will get out with a limit order at a lower price. That's my assumption. Does that make sense? So that's what the model is doing, is it's looking at the order flow and it's saying, okay, all of these guys got long, and then it's going down level by level and it's saying, okay, well, here's this many got out, this many got out. That's the assumption. So there's a really huge assumption. Now there's another assumption that I would like to make, but I can't. And that is that if I got short at 33.50 and then there was a buy order further up here that was a stop, and if I had if I had Rhythmic's API and I was looking at market by order data, I would be able to determine that. Then I could assume that they also got out at a loss. That's another assumption that I want to be able to make in my model, but I can't in NinjaTrader. So I kind of have to just look at the chart and kind of, judge it like pretty certain, because that was the buyer's, the seller's cost basis there around the 33.50 to 33.55 area, that those were the guys that were bailing, that their stops were bailing break even, if not at a loss for those that didn't position themselves well. So that's what the model is doing. And that's why I call it a model, because it's like, let's look at the order flow. Let's look at the orders that were hit and the prices that they hit at, and we'll make assumptions about the way that they trade, and then we'll say, based on those assumptions, where are their average positions and their stops. That's how it works. And those are the prices that I get. And you can see when you look at it, man. I mean, it's a model. Past performance isn't indicative of future results. I really think that you want to trade news fundamentals and global money flows. But I mean, come on, man. Pretty. And these ones, when you come from in the regular session, you often have to kind of project these. So. And you would think, okay, well, you're just doing it like backwards, right? We're just looking at it in the past. It's true. That's why I don't necessarily like so much to take it as entries, more so as targets. Like, that's, to me, is like, we got in down here and I was like, well, 33.40. I actually took it from here, not from here. I should have waited for 45, I guess, but yeah. Cool. That's a good target. That's a good target would be all of the shorts from overnight get washed out. Seems to work pretty good. I wish I could do a back test. Well, maybe I'll try it again. When I've tried doing back tests that involve tick replay lately in NinjaTrader, it either takes forever or it just outright crashes. So haven't been able to test actually like taking trades at those locations. I have found that, especially in more explosive action, that they do tend to go through it a little bit. So, so just know, when I say those sorts of things, I'm judging that based on my model, and it's an estimate, and it may or may not actually be 100% reflective of what's really going on in the market, but it appears to be pretty good at it. Yeah, and let's not make this personal. Says, could you test that with Meta 5? I don't know. I've never used that platform. I don't even know if Meta 5 is capable of categorizing the volume as buy or sell based on the best bid and ask. I haven't been, honestly, I'm not terribly impressed with MetaTrader. MetaTrader is kind of the platform we all pick on.
Alex DeWudian says, anyone heard of Jim Simon's mathematician and his medallion fund? Curious how it works. Supposedly most profitable quant firm.
So I don't know how they work in particular, but I'll tell you two things. Well, we'll try and find two things. Okay, so first one is here on YouTube. Yes, my subscriptions. What are my subscriptions? We do it like manage list manage. No, that's not what I want. Like, there is a way for me to go. Maybe I do it channels. Yeah. Okay, now what was his name? Yes, that's his name. That's him. This guy right here. I'm gonna link you to this guy's channel. So You have to go really far back, and they're not necessarily his most popular videos, and they're really, really long videos. But he talks about different hedge and quant fund strategies and how they work. That's something that I kind of need to go through. But yeah, really useful information, isn't it? Okay. So, medallion fund. The next thing that we want to do is read their prospectus. Medallion fund. So do they have like a website that we can see here? It's crushing it. Blah blah blah. Rentech. Is that their website? Maybe Medallion Fund prospectus. That might tell us something. That's their funds webpage right there. 13F filings. Dun, 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 dun. Well, that's a useless page. Offering. So what is that? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't think that this would actually tell us. No. F. Wait, what are we talking about? Sorry, I didn't. Why do I not have these reading these?
Jack Henderson says you should read High Frequency Trading and Probability Theory, a book done by some Chinese professors about futures markets.
Wow, that's a completely different thing from what I've been doing though. But
Gary Rich says, Seth, you are not going to get access to Simon's.
is that where you get that stuff? There's a place where you can read these, right? Is it not? Is it not public? I know that if you're in the fund, that they show you, that they tell you, right?
Jack Henderson says the math's in very in-depth but is a great read. Kevin Wimmer says, honestly, if I was a big guy during the overnight, still shorting up about 30 to 40 points, I would use the increased volume during the open to get out and not be greedy and lose it all lol.
You would think so, Kevin.
Alex DeWudian says supposedly the Medallion Fund is not open to public, only to private investors, and they set a hard limit on how much is trading. Gary Rich says it's private, not public.
Oh, so you're saying if
Gary
it was
Rich
public,
says
then I
you
would
are
be able
exploring
to.
in a world which you should not criticize. His fund is the greatest of all time. Live Action says at Gary Rich, check this video out. He uses %2, taught by Big Trader. You might like his story.
Who are we talking about? Am I missing something? Oh, Jim Simmons is the guy that does the thing. Okay, I get you. Lessons from an order flow. I think I've watched this. Is this that oil trader guy that trades with order flow? Okay, so by the way, I just want to point out, what did I say? Okay, we project these spots from the overnight. That's the shorts cost basis. That's the longs cost basis. Okay, so they washed out it all to get just to where the buyers were just barely like maybe going to make money, and then it turned, which I see a lot and kind of reinforces this theory that I've seen most prominently from Al Brooks, that like guys will get short at a spot and it go against them, and then when it comes back, they will get out of the loss, break even. So that's what the buyers, they bought from here. Buyers are basically average long from here. It came up to there, they bailed. right where the model predicted it should. And it's like you can find a place where sometimes it catches it, but when it does it like every day, it doesn't do it like every test of those lines, but every day you will see a significant turn in those lines. Okay. So you're saying it's a private fund that you're not going to get the stuff that. So you're probably right, but then at that point you would think that somebody would like leak it or something, right? Well, here's this. Oh, I already. Filing date reporting. What is this? That is their 13F. Original filing. Click here. Ah, there it is on the SEC. Primary documents. Seth Simmons Fund is so secretive, no one knows exactly how they do it. Okay, my point was that there are some things that they have to file. Like there's a 13F that they have to file with the SEC. They usually send out a prospective to their investors, and that might not tell you exactly how it works or anything, but it's probably the best that you're gonna get, right?
Let's not make this personal, says what are you looking for exactly? I will go look for it somewhere you popularly don't look, lol.
Yeah, well, I'm interested primarily in a prospectus. I want to know, what do they tell their investors about how their strategy works. Well, and that's the primary document. Doesn't really, just tells them what their holdings are. Okay, well, what do we get in this? These guys seem to think that looking at their 13F told them something. 80% a year before fees? Wow. That is amazing. You make 40% a year?
Alex Dawudian says they have other public firms associated with Renaissance, but not as profitable as their medallion fund. Jeff Lurks says the guy that wrote the book about Simon's medallion included some of the performance numbers. Gary Rich says they drove all the investors out, now they trade for themselves.
In 2014, this statement by the hedge fund to the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations offers a clue to Renaissance Technologies strategies. We collect all of the publicly available data we can find that we believe might bear on the movement of prices of tradable instruments. News stories, analyst reports, energy reports, crop reports, weather reports, regulatory filings, accounting data, and of course, quotes and trades from markets around the world. Our models use this data to make predictions about future price changes. Although we use different strategies in managing our different funds, all of our strategies depend on the output of our data-driven models. So it kind of sounds to me like they do what I try to do, except for that they have like 100 people working on it, and it's all automated and in a model. That's cool. Notice though, here's the thing that stands out to me. What is the first thing that he pointed out? News stories. Just saying. Did you guys see that link that I posted over in here in the education channel? I'll pull that up here and we'll look at that one too. Where was it? And it got buried in all this other stuff that people were talking about. Okay, anyways. their strategies are not all high frequency. A source told an institutional investor that Medallion's positions are held anywhere from seconds to seasons. Indeed. Okay, so they're like a full on, like they trade it. Okay. They apparently some of it is in other people's funds. Cloning Renaissance Technologies 13F positions, it would have returned 16% annually over the last 5 years. So they're making a lot from trading, but they're also making a lot. Well, they're outperforming the market just on their picks. So you can clone their holdings. That's fun. Okay. Oh, they got PepsiCo. Humanic Verisign. That's interesting. Pretty diversified fund there. Okay, so we're not really going to know exactly how it works, but that did give us some useful information, right? They do look at news and they do take short-term trades. So let me show you this I found. Here is a study that I found. And what they looked at is they said, we show empirical results by constructing machine learning models of latent Dirichlet allocation to represent information from news feeds and simple naive Bayes classifiers to predict the direction of movements. Empirical results show that the average directional prediction accuracy for volatility on arrival of new information is 56%, while that of the asset close price, which is basically what they're using technical analysis on closing prices, is no better than random at 49%. We evaluate these results using a range of stock and stock indices in the US market, using a reliable news source as input. We conclude that volatility movements are more predictable than asset price movements when using financial news as machine learning input, and hence could potentially be exploited in pricing derivatives contracts via quantifying volatility. So what are they saying? Especially when it comes to volatility, news is more predictive than price. That's what they're saying. So this is, if you find another study that maybe goes deeper into that, but it sounds to me like news is more predictive than technical analysis. Seems to me. And then we just read there that the world's most important quant fund uses news, looks at it quantitatively, and has models to predict future price movements. That's way cool. They're doing the whole system. They got the whole thing. It's not just technicals. I like that. I'm glad you asked that question.
Gary Rich says they have so many PhDs in several areas. Huge
I'm
brain
sure.
power working there. Secretive and no one gives interviews. Gary Rich says Seth, we including myself, are serious retards compared to Jim Simons and that team.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, when I worked at Goldman Sachs.
Jack Henderson says my friend is a coder, does AI. He is trying to build a system that trades based upon tweets.
Well, doing tweets would be a really great thing too. I'm just the thing that I always get into when that sort of a thing is that you can't just look at one component. You have to factor in what people's positions are and what people's expectations are on any kind of news-based system, right? Because if you get a tweet and you go and you say, okay, this tweet is positive, but then everybody was already expecting that thing, then it's not going to go anywhere, if not sell, right? So anyways, I remember when I was working at Goldman Sachs, like there was a lot of really smart people, like just there in technology. I got a bachelor's and I was coming right out of school, but there was a lot of people there. And here was the thing, was I applied to them on a whim, to be completely honest with you. I was watching, I think it was Lloyd Blankfein was being interviewed on 60 Minutes or something. And that was where he said that they're doing God's work and everybody got like really pissed off at him. And people were criticizing them because they paid their employees too much. And I was like, well, I want to make a ton of money. And I want to work on Wall Street because this is way more, I find markets way more interesting than writing video games. Writing video games is an awful job. So I got on and I applied. Well, the thing is that they don't do campus recruiting until like October, and this was like July. So I sent in a resume and everything. I applied and totally forgot about it. And then 2 weeks later, they said, oh, hey, we're doing interviews at the University of Utah. We want you to come down. And I got interviewed by 2 groups. It was literally all day. Oh my gosh. It was like I got interviewed by 2 groups that wanted me. And each group I got interviewed by like 3 or 4 different people. And they asked really difficult questions. You know, like there was a lot of algorithmic stuff and things like that. I don't know if my answers on all of those were like super complicated or anything. But then there was this one guy that came in and he was like, oh, so you really like trading? So tell me about options. What does, if you sell a call, is that bullish or bearish? It's bearish. This is like, I just read an options book, but it was like second nature to me. And I think that was why they, like, I don't think that I'm like a super genius or anything, but I think that it was my passion for the markets was the primary reason that they hired me on. And so I go there and I'm doing like the training because I came straight out of school. Everybody else that comes straight out of school, they go for job training and it's 6 weeks. And honestly, they didn't teach us anything all that great. It was just like most of the stuff that we learned in university, but to make sure that everybody was on the same page because some of those people were in technology but weren't like computer science degrees. Some of those guys were PhDs. Like I had gotten in on a whim, and there was a huge section of them that were going to be strats or other things like that they had gotten PhDs and were headhunted by them and this was their first job coming out. Remember that the guys that made the Black-Scholes model, they worked for Goldman. There's some really smart people out there. And yeah, there's some hedge funds. Some of the guys that were really like the good traders, when the whole regulation came in that you can't really trade your own money anymore, those guys left to different funds and stuff. There's some really smart people out there. But I would add just this one caution. Okay. 1, nobody knows everything. 2, I often found was the case, especially when we were working with the strats, that, success breeds arrogance, right? I mean, when I'm doing well, it makes me arrogant, doesn't it? And that there's going to be a lot of situations where these guys, these quant funds and stuff like that, they've got a model, right? And this model works really, really well. And so they say, I'm going to stick, we're going to use this model. But the problem is that it is a model, okay? The only way that you can 100% accurately model the market is by having the market, right? Otherwise, there's always going to be a situation where your model is off. And the people that make these models, I have found, and part of it is because the way that they have to promote it to people, and part of it is that the model is often right where people are wrong because it's not subject to the same kind of biases that humans are. But the result is that when their model is wrong, they don't know it. They don't know it. And frankly, during this downturn, the whole coronavirus pandemic, that whole move down, man, there was a lot of robots out there that were dead wrong trying to bolt by the dip on that thing and just getting destroyed. So, as smart as these people are, and as much smarter than they are than you or me, that doesn't mean that you can't find edge on them. Yeah?
Winston's mom says Renaissance is hiring a computer programmer. I am looking at their careers website. Would you want to live in Setauket, NY? If you work for them, I would think you would receive an invitation to invest.
Where is that? I'll look at it. That's interesting. What kind of a programmer are they looking for, though? That would be the thing. Setauket, New York. Is that below? Oh, so it's a Long Island, essentially. Wait, is that really? Yeah. So it really wouldn't. I probably wouldn't actually live in Long Island. I don't know if you know what the thing is this is really dumb. I don't know how accurate this is because I just don't know or understand New York that well. I lived there for 6 weeks, right, when we did the training. And people always told me that I should move here. What is it called that they got over there? What's that place called? Now, it wasn't Paul's Hook. I think it was further down here, maybe. What was it called? There was like a new area down in here, and that like all of the Newport. There it is, Newport. That all of my friends lived in Newport, and they were like, "That's where you should go." So I don't know if that's me, if I'm a Newport, Jersey kind of person, but that's where they told me that if I moved to New York, where I should live.
Gary Rich says model of models of models. The assumptions get out of whack when implied vols just tick up. Those models don't have a nice rack. Lol.
Right. But I guess one of the points that I wanted you guys to get out of that is you want to look at the whole picture. Most retail traders want to say, oh, the market is simple. All I have to do is look at price. And no, it's more complicated than that. Markets are complicated. Your analysis has to be complicated too.
Vlad Stolyarov says AMZN got up too. Winston's mom says we vacationed at Lake Kakuka in upstate NY. It's gorgeous there. Long Island is expensive. I know people from there. Salim L. Weathering says, see, I told you everyone is vulnerable to the market, even HFTs. Why you resent HFTs? DUUUUUDE? Anthony K. says, which state are you at, Seth?
I'm in Utah.
Winston's mom says, look at upstate NJ. Lake Hopticong, Sparta, somewhere in North NJ with lakes, bears and trees. It's much prettier and nothing like what you see in South Jersey on television. There's trees in
New Jersey?
Ahmed Muziru says, hi people.
Hello.
Salim L. Weathering says you should go there. Salim L. Weathering says follow your dreams.
Trump wants to help airlines. Is that I haven't heard anything from my squawk in a while. I wonder if I got disconnected again. Oh, I turned them down. They were talking too much. I turned them down. Moderna executive, about 10,000 phase 3 study participants have received the second dose of the coronavirus vaccine candidate. That might have been why we moved up there. Okay, well, so they turned down there. Now that we're starting to get above 55, we could start to think about a more serious long on the looking for them to fill and looking for them to gap fill. I think that we would need to be really selective about our spot, though. Where are you located now? Salt Lake City. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a suburb north of Salt Lake City.
Winston's mom says my family lived in Maplewood. My great-grandfather had the food contract for Ellis Island. So, he took the train from Maplewood to Ellis Island to work every day. And carried the cash home safely. Vlad Stolyarov says 3,339 was kind of VWAP support.
Yeah, I don't see myself moving, to be honest. They would, if some Wall Street firm approached me and said, we want you to trade for us and you got to move to New York or Chicago. And, I was getting a good base salary that was competitive with what I make here in Utah, plus the cost of living expenses, then I would try to convince my wife. Certainly would, because I would love to trade for a professional firm. But otherwise, I don't think I have any interest in leaving here. The thing is, you gotta understand about Utah. Everybody here in Utah is Mormon. And a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like Mormons. But, the thing for me is that,
Winston's mom says and leave the army of dads. Lol, yeah. I can't see why you would want to move. Utah sounds lovely.
I don't smoke. I don't drink. So the things that bothers people about Utah is if you want to get liquor, you have to go to the state-owned liquor store, for instance. I don't care. That's the thing that's kind of, I don't know. Just look at it from my perspective, okay? I don't drink. Sorry, New Squawk was talking there. It is unjust, I guess you could say. It is unjust that here in Utah, you have to go to the liquor store to buy liquor. They shouldn't be limiting, but anybody that gets a license should be able to open up a liquor store in Utah. That would be the free market. So it's not, freedom. It's not freedom, liberty, etc., etc., etc. Right? But I don't drink. I don't care about that. I kind of like that you have, you don't just see hard liquor at the store. I kind of like that. I know that it's wrong for those of you that do like those things, but I like it that way. So for me, somebody that doesn't smoke, hates the smell of coffee, has no interest in ever drinking because I'm ADHD and I think it would absolutely destroy me. There's absolutely nothing not to love about Utah. Does Utah allow sex, or is that state run? No, they allow sex for sure. Well, and there's the other thing is if you were a young single person and you were not Mormon, then dating in Utah might be a little frustrating, and the nightlife and everything about Utah might be really frustrating. But if you are a married man that his nightly routine is playing with the baby, then Utah is great. Probably the best place you could be for that sort of a thing. So somebody would really have to entice me to make me want to move out of Utah. So I was just thinking about it because Jigsaw is looking for programmers, and I would love to get in there and kind of stick some of my stuff in the platform, I guess. But the time is off for them. They're, by the time I'm awake, they're gone. It wouldn't work out. I don't think it would. That sort of thing. It would really take a lot to entice me away from here.
Alex DeWudian says, how are the gun laws in Utah?
Oh, it's really good. I mean, you have to get a concealed carry permit, but it's one of the easiest states to get it.
Winston's mom says Tennessee still has dry counties. Over in Lafayette, there were no bars and no alcohol served in restaurants. I should say the one restaurant and Sundays were dry. Vlad Stolyarov says 3,358 is a fib line. If we stay above, we save the day. Gary Rich says point me to the strip clubs I'm in. Winston's mom says Gary Rich, have you been to Tampa? The clubs along Dale Mabry by the Bucks Stadium are famous.
Oh, yeah. You know, there used to be this one titty bar in Utah on State Street in 5300 South called the Southern Exposure. And it was on State Street, and they always had this huge billboard. And it was always controversial because the parents didn't want their kids to know that there was a strip bar on State Street. Strip bars are supposed to be in that shady part of town that us good people never visit. And you can only wear, all the girls have to wear pasties apparently. Like there's like really, really strict rules about strip clubs. I've never been in a strip club, so I don't really know all it is, but I did DJ stuff and raves, and so there was a little bit of crossover from that apparently. So I don't really know what the deal is with that. But anyways, there was that one, and then eventually the hospital next to it bought them out and tore it down. So now I think there's like two in a shady part. There's not very many titty bars in Utah now.
Gary Rich says I've been to the clubs in Miami, like a kid in a candy store, looking for cavities. Oh, daddy.
So here's what you do. I mean, if you don't drink and you don't smoke and all those things, then just become a Mormon. Because then it's like, dude, you just get on Tinder, she's Mormon, swipe right. You get a date. It's like crazy. Even if you're ugly. I'm not ugly. I think I'm kind of average. Sometimes I can look good. Sometimes. But it was
Winston's mom says
like
in the
to
early
date.
80s we went to a strip club in Little Rock, Arkansas to see Morgana, the kissing bandit. She was huge, and when a man would get a drink, she would grab him, hold him between.
Oh, really? Man, so remember when I was saying, well, we could take how long ago was that? Should I have been paying attention better and taking it in there somewhere? Because now I'm like, well, they're going to turn back down. U.S. stocks rebound, still negative, but well off session lows. I really feel like I should have
Vlad
held that more.
Stolyarov says this might be reshort area more likely.
Let's come over and look at the VIX here.
Gary Rich says Mormons on Tinder, how funny. Are they on Grindr? That's super funny.
Nah,
Winston's
listen.
mom says I think you are a very attractive, pleasant-looking man.
Oh, thank you.
If I was trying to describe you to another lady, I might say he's very good-looking, would dress up well. Let's not make this personal says I used to live across the street from that strip club.
Oh, really?
Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, I used to live down there too.
Let's not make this personal says strip.
I used to live in the apartments kind of behind the hospital. Those were like some of the cheapest apartments, man. Like when I first got married, and it was like $600 or $700 a month for one bedroom. Good times, good times. But then I lived in West Valley, and West Valley kind of sucked because of schools. And then now I live in Davis County. Listen, Gary. Here's the thing about Tinder. This whole thing about how Tinder is for hookups, it's all marketing. It's total bullshit. It's all marketing. They made Tinder out and they marketed it as a hookup app. And nobody actually uses it that way. Certainly not in Utah. I mean, they date. And of course, when people date, they sleep with each other as they're dating. But the whole thing that it was like just for hookups and it was easy to get hookups on it, it was all marketing. It was totally marketing. You use Tinder, just use it like a dating app. Like you're interested in somebody, you swipe right, they swipe right on you, then you message them, give them a compliment about something that's not their appearance. Something that they have control over, like what their interests are or something like that. And show that you looked at their pictures. And then if they respond, you get their number and you set up the date and you just boom, 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 boom. And if they don't, if they're skittish, then just ignore them because those people never meet up. If you do that, you can go out 3-5 times a week. Especially if you're a girl. Oh my gosh, I knew some girls that were going on like 2 dates a day. Like, what the hell, hon? I remember when my wife and I were dating,
Because I was on this thing that like, well, I don't want to get into a serious relationship until it's been a year. And I met my wife just before that. And I was all about like helping people get better with their profiles because I was like going through the data and everything. I should write a book about it. I really should, because there was some people that thought that what I shared was really unintuitive but extremely effective. And it was always like she would get a date and then they would flake, or it would just be really awful, and then we would hang out after the date. That would happen all the time. Oh man. Oh no. Oh no.
Winston's mom says, could we have 1 small second of silence for my Mika ferret? Last night, she left us and is now on the Rainbow Bridge with Ponce, Romy, Winston and Killer Ferret. She was
Okay.
loved, she will be missed.
Well, at least she like died in her sleep. As the worst thing is when you have to go to the vet and have them put them down, and then they charge you like a ridiculous amount of money to kill your pet. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst. No, it. John.
John 2 John 25 says, sorry, I'm only half listening and have doing paperwork. Did you say you met your wife at a strip club?
No.
John
I
2
met.
John 25 says, rolling on the floor laughing JK.
It's so much worse. I met her on a Facebook group. That was the thing that was so funny, was that I put all of this work into Tinder and getting good at Tinder and getting a lot of dates on Tinder. And then I ended up meeting my wife on Facebook. Oh man. It was funny too, because it was like they have like LDS singles groups on Facebook. And one of the girls said, what we would like is a man menu. So like all of the guys just come in and post a picture of yourself so that we know who all of the guys are in here and we can just pick. And so I posted my picture and a couple of girls liked it. And so I messaged all of the girls that liked it, and my wife was one of them. I thought.
Winston's mom says, I thought you met your wife on an airplane because she is a flight attendant, I guess.
Well, the thing is when I looked at her profile, I was like, oh, she's a flight attendant. That's like highly desired, right?
Let's not make this personal says, what university did you go to?
Nah, I went to the University of Utah for computer science.
Gary Rich says, we know what Tinder is for, and it's not for interesting
No.
conversations.
Yeah, no, that's one of my counterintuitive secrets, Gary. Because people think, okay, you match up with somebody on Tinder. Now what do? You start to have lots of conversations and find out a lot about them to determine if you want to go out with them. And then after you've developed a little bit of a relationship, then you can take it to the next level by meeting in person. Wrong. Don't do that. 5 messages, that's it. Stop talking to them. You don't have their number and a date set up after like 5-10 messages, then move on. Straight up. Dates are like movies. The less you know about the plot going into it, the more fun it is. And honestly, any rapport that you might build up with somebody just through text could be completely useless later on. So yeah. Yeah, it's not for interesting conversations, you're right. It's just a really good mechanism for, okay, I find you attractive, you find me attractive, you're relatively equally matched in attractiveness. It's like that fixes like the first hard thing, the first hard hurdle, which is like getting to people. And so then you just go through as many people, just meet in person as many people as you can. Just meet with as many people as you can in person, because everything that you do on text is useless.
Gary Rich says, I don't buy a toy without playing with it first.
Yeah.
Lol.
I just I've heard that one so many times, and here's my argument to that. I don't have to test drive a Ferrari to know that Ferraris are really good. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I understand if it was an old, used up Civic. Okay. But just don't date Civics. That's maybe I went too far with that one. Somebody might find that offensive. Man, I was thinking like, hey, I could buy it here. 3354 moved up so quickly. Now I'm not so sure. They might just slip through here now. Oh man. Even the second deviation is a little bit much. Well, feeling super FOMO right now. Like I could have made so much more today, but I didn't. It's okay though. I'm pretty happy with where we're at right now. Yeah, it's gonna come back. That one's not. When I'm watching the tape, the initial break was the one where I was like, well, they're probably gonna break a high and there's gonna be some stops, but then doesn't look like it's just gonna careen out of here and bust up. So, and by the way, the dollar index is back to 93. Oil's taking off today. Gold.
Vlad Stolyarov says Dow Jones green.
It's the Dow green. I think you're going to continue to see a lot of the NASDAQ goes down, but the other indexes are okay. Oh man, I need more water. Okay, well now is a good chance. We got like 30 more minutes. Let me get some water and
All right. Well, if we were to have a trend day up, they could not only close the gap, but get above 80. So we could potentially take a long still. Fact, they're kind of acting like, okay. Oof. 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 That's so bad. So quick.
Vlad Stolyarov says AAPL pulling back some.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad pick, wasn't it?
Vlad Stolyarov says even though it looks like happy uptrend I wouldn't go long.
You think so? Well, I'm really kind of thinking that they're gonna want to fill the gap now, but they're doing all sorts of crazy shit. I hate this.
Vlad Stolyarov says NQ was super weak. Vlad Stolyarov says thinking it's just dead cat bounce on NQ.
Man, they're playing games with us. Quit playing games with my heart. Come on. It's kind of clicky clicky. It's offers. It's offers that are doing it. It's 62. Aha.
Vlad Stolyarov says AAPL gap filling now.
New high, but only by a tick. They're still thinking around with offers. Don't you just
Vlad
hate it when it
Stolyarov
does
says
that sort of
airlines like
thing?
the news.
63 and 65 now.
Gary Rich says airline need and want another 25B in loans or such.
Yeah. But I don't. How are they going to get that through Congress? Well, there's some trade going through there at 60. They're almost certainly going to stop me out. Lame.
Gary Rich says it will get done. Why? Less layoffs, which are not good for politicians, especially in the districts they represent. Alex Lynn says anyone paying attention to CVS or WBA.
Do you think they're going to roll over here now? It's possible.
Vlad Stolyarov says can't tell yet.
I'm really not so sure that they can get the airlines money. Like, I'm not sure if they can pass anything. Yeah, let's let them work this thing out at 3360. It's a little really messy. Look at that. Ooh. There you go. That's the squeeze.
Gary Rich says Chevron pays a great DV. Oil will come back in the future. Alex Lynn says what are you guys trading?
We're trading micro ES futures. So we're trading the S&P 500 index. Similar to like when people trade SPY. Except for I don't know why you would trade SPY. It's not as good of leverage. Actually, I was wondering the other day because I mean, now that you've got micro futures.
Vlad Stolyarov says SPY has free commissions.
Now that you have options.
Vlad Stolyarov says if you have 200K plus account.
Now that you have options on micro futures, is there really any reason to trade SPY? What's the reason to trade SPY? There's got to be like an advantage to it beyond just the commissions from Robinhood, right? Because I mean, there's got to be big institutional people that are trading it too. Why do they do it? What do they get out of it?
Vlad Stolyarov says AAPL mission complete 112.
Cool. I tell you what, when that finally turned up, it sure turned up, didn't it? And it looks like they're going to revisit that 60, but it got out at a good price too. I'm glad I didn't wait for that to try and, continue through.
Vlad Stolyarov says sometimes they roll back down, especially if they don't want AAPL to go up higher.
Mm.
Ace Trades says, how did things go?
Going well. I had a few small losses at the first, but then I got it to go. I got long somewhere around 33.30. It didn't necessarily have the best price, unfortunately. And then I let it go up to my 40 and I took it off. I really should have let it run. I would have been really happy with my take in today if I had let it run. But I still made $50. And I just took another little short one there, but and I just got it out really quickly. I'm actually a little surprised and glad that I decided to take it for such a short one. I think there was a little bit of luck on that one because it came back pretty hard. I'm not 100% sure if they're done on the long side or not. Like it's still in an area where it could totally
Ace
flip
Trades says, I'm
down.
starting to really hate the S and like the NQ. Not hate, but it's so annoying how it stops me out. Every damn
Oh well,
time.
if oh, how did she? Oh, you put periods at the end of it. I mean, if you like being stopped out in ES, I'm sure you'll love being stopped out on NQ. I don't. I mean, isn't that always the thing? Man.
Vlad Stolyarov says, just martingale without stops.
Yeah, just martingale without stops. Yes. You know what I think it is, Ace? Though, are you still getting in at the simple moving average? Because I'm noticing that we're getting this kind
Ace
of
Trades says, NQ seems to run better. Lol,
yeah.
no stops equals no money.
Yeah. So what I'm noticing is that we're having a pretty high volatility day, but the average true range on like a non-time adjusted basis is not actually very good. So like it looks to me like there's high volatility, but there's fight both ways. And so it is
Ace
seeming
Trades says, I
to
use
get
that, and then there
hard.
are the new indicators my overlords shill. They actually work decently.
I'm sure that there's some use to them. Especially, I mean, they were order flow stuff, right? I don't remember what the place was called or what the indicators did, but yeah. So if it's going to be a market like that, because here's the thing: the reason that a moving average works is because when you catch a winner, they
Salim
run
L.
so much
Weathering
further
says at
than the
ACE
losers,
Trades welcome to
right?
NQ, dude.
What'll happen is, let's try and draw a picture. You know, here you have your moving average. And it goes like this, right? So you say when price comes above that, then you want to go long, and then the stock will do this. And this is where you catch
Ace
your
Trades
winners.
says it's Salim L. Weathering lol, thanks.
But what it'll do is it'll do this right in here. And you'll lose money. You'll lose money in here because it's stopping everybody out, right? So the question is, how do you avoid all of this and get in on this one right here? And that's where you want to kind of look at some of the order flow and the news flow and everything else like that. So like in this situation right now, I was going for stop runs, but I'm not sure if I can take a long or a short here despite, like let's say that they hit back into 33.59. Would that be a long? I don't think so. Because it's in that area, and especially since there was some stuff at 33.60 and everything's like some big guys going there. Whenever I see a big guy come in, I immediately think, okay, like it could chop around here for a bit. That's
Vlad
often what
Stolyarov
happens.
says AAPL pulling back nicely off 112 gap fill.
So that might be why you're having problems in the E-mini. So that's how I would filter it. Or that's how I'm filtering it. I don't always. Often what's happening to me is I will take a spot. Let's just say that I wanted to go long and I'd be catching it because there's an iceberg right there at 356.50. That would be an okay place to do it. Or maybe one jump down from that, maybe at 33.55.50. Okay. And then when the moving average comes along, then I'll take a second contract or something like that. So one of the things I've done that's worked once too, earlier in the week. I wonder if I take all of my trades today from this week.
Ace Trades says a guy in my room wanted to look at natural gas. Did you know they have it the price can go negative?
Oh, real sure. I can on any commodity, really. It says I only made 50 this week. Oh no, 185. Cool. A lot of trades though. Well, remember when oil went negative? Because what it means is that they're literally paying you to take it because they don't have anywhere to store it. And they're saving money off of not having to store it, essentially. So yeah, it can go, any commodity can go negative. Suppose the E-mini could even go negative, but that wouldn't even really make sense. So they would like reweight the index at that point. A treasury could go negative potentially too, but that would be anywhere close to that. But like if the U.S. government was overthrown, maybe treasuries would go to zero or be negative, right? As long as I keep to my thing about catching 2 points, I'm okay, but I haven't got a long 15 to 20 point run out. Oh, hey, you know what that reminds me? I need to give you this thing. Can you, are you pop into Discord really quick? If you pop into Discord here. Oh, and you know what? I should repackage it. Oh, where is it? Hold on a second. Find it.
Ace Trades says I will try. I always never seem to be able to get in. There is passwords and it never seems to let me in. Ace Trades says ZB short at 176.21. Is that a thing?
$176.21. Sure. I mean, that's at the low of the day, and you got an iceberg against you, but it could go through and break lows. That would be super interesting. I'm trying to export this for you here, but I can't even find the...
Pivot Analytics says very interesting slightly smiling face. Eric McDermott says any thoughts on Friday's quadruple witching $?
Oh man, I totally forgot about that. Oh, I'm so glad that you reminded me. Well,
Ace Trades says and the price is just not moving. What am I trading? Cold molasses.
Oh yeah, you're trading cold molasses for sure. That is exactly what it is. What the hell? I know that it was in here.
Salim L. Wuthering says you dudes. I love you.
There it goes.
Ace Trades says what is on Friday.
You got
I
it
didn't
too.
see anything before 9.
Let's see here. How far can they go? They're kind of blasting through. The other guys, the other ones have some room though. So maybe.
Ace Trades
maybe
says
here.
it's Salim L. Wuthering we love you too, man.
So because of the location for this, I would only be looking for like 4 ticks, but you're just so
Eric
if you
McDermott says quad witching. $, Friday.
look at how much it's taking to clear down here.
Winston's mom says, Clip, glad you reminded me. And while we are reminding, may I remind you, traders gonna trade. Mugs make you very cool and if you hit the like button, who knows you may get lucky. Thanks. Ace Trades says at
Thank you.
Winston's mom there is my girl. How are ya? Salim L. Wuthering says sorry. I meant yo dudes, not you dudes. Winston's mom says good
just have
morning.
to give
Ace
them
Trades I am terrific and how are you?
URL.
Weathering these weather heights okay? Ace Trades says at Salim L. Wuthering love is love. We want to celebrate it wherever we find it.
They coming back there pretty good. I don't know if it's another. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, so that must have been the London close right there.
Ace Trades says at Winston's mom yup, I could use some rain, my trails are mega dusty. Eric McDermott says if Trump or Kudlow tries to pump market, or someone, to slow sell off, else, thinking down, past 50 MDA, trade one in front of us.
They already sent Kudlow out. He was already on this morning. Look at that. That is a lot. That was I think that was because of the London close.
Salim L. Wuthering says yo, Seth just went hams on the clicks. Vlad Stolyarov says J-Pow did damage
Right?
we need more Fed chairmans.
Look,
Ace
they were
Trades says at Winston's mom you're safe and sound. No trouble with the
stacking
weather,
500
other than green lawns.
500 lots. 500 lots coming in here.
Vlad Stolyarov says I can't tell what they want. Eric McDermott says was nice short in the futures overnight, elsewise.
Okay, here comes the bill auctions. Oh, what's going on here?
Gary Rich says it's all just wind sprints in between the ranges. Winston's mom says Ace Trades, this summer was very mild. I was
Something's
able
up.
to turn my air off at night and open windows. We have rain
Something's
almost
up.
every day which I love and I think winter is coming early. Juliet Ferret sleeps late. Let's not make this personal says fun fact. Ferrets are illegal in Utah. It was very hard to find vets that would look at mine when I lived there.
Yeah, they are. No, wait, they're. I don't think it's illegal. I think that you just have to have a license or something, right? Because they sell them at the pet store.
Ace Trades says illegal. Why? Eric McDermott says
They
your thoughts
steal.
on dollar. Seems at major support. Will it break lower or go up?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm surprised that the dollar has come back as much as it has.
Let's not make this personal, says WTF. I sent that like an hour ago.
Really?
Ace Trades
You
says
okay,
what should be
bud?
illegal is the way the ZB
Hold
is a
on.
snooze fest. Ace Trades says there better be a baby in his arms when he comes back. Winston's mom says hi. Let's not make this personal. There are several states, New York, California, Hawaii, where they are illegal. Silly.
Sorry
I have
about
to take
that.
mine to the exotic vet hospital in Knoxville.
Hey, look,
Way
see,
too
they
exotic
bought it.
for here.
They bought it. and
Ace
now it's
Trades
back
says
down.
yes. Vlad Stolyarov says
Yeah.
NQ
They
danger.
sold pretty hard yesterday. Yeah. Okay, now go back to mom. And don't hit your head on the wall. So he was walking
Ace
around
Trades
in the
says hi
hall.
baby.
He was walking around in the hall and was looking through the window at me and he slipped and smacked his head on the window. I'm trying to export my thing. And it's just not showing up. I'm so confused. So you had all these ones. These SPS ones. But then where is the market depth tape? How do I export that? The other one had it, right? Huh. Well, I'm awfully confused. They're still trading a lot of volume there, too. What are your thoughts on the private bank known as the Fed? I'm so confused. I think I would just have to pass you the DLL. And bid at 47 some positive stats, man. I have never seen anything like this. What the hell is going on? There's a monster exchange of volume going on here that I cannot explain. Pelosi is speaking. Hey, did you hold that trade, Ace? 3 contracts. That's good. I would take it off now. Below 16. Somewhere around here. What is the tick size? Oh, it's 31. It's basically 1,000 divided by 32.
Ace Trades says I'll just cover the trade and see how it goes.
Yeah, I would take at least some profits because it's very, very much down. So for them to extend further here at this exact moment would be very.
Winston's mom says Ace Trades. This little fellow was 10 days old when he lost his mother.
Would be very, very.
And now he is living an utterly luxurious life with 3 swimming pools, Turkish towels and handmaidens grooming him.
Okay, well, you know what? I was
Kevin
trying
Wimmer
to.
says I mean WTF. The last
I'll
5
probably
minutes
just
had
have
more
to
volume
send
than
you.
the first 5 minutes during the open.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on,
Vlad
guys.
Stolyarov says squeezing again.
Something's happening. I'm just gonna sit back and not touch it because it's just super crazy. I don't get what's happening, and I gotta go. Ace, if you get on Discord, you have to have your Discord account with a verified email and phone to get into the server. So do that. Go to like Discord app and like make sure that you have an account and that it's attached to your phone and email, and then try joining. And I'll send it. I'll just have to give it to you as the straight DLL and not the zip file, but it will work either way. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that one I must not have actually included that add-on. Well, anyways, I'll give you all the things, and that'll help you. But here in the treasuries, it looks like that's is going to be really hard to hold it. So just remember, at 16, they like to fiddle around with that number a lot. It would be the equivalent of like if the E-mini was trading at 3,500 right now, it's kind of the equivalent. So, yeah. And plus you got, what did you get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know, normally I'll take it off at like +8 or +16 or whatever. Yeah, I gotta go. I will see you guys tomorrow. What should we call today's video? I don't know what's going on here, but that's some huge volume, and they're selling it now. Ooh, okay. All right, guys. Sorry I've been like super unfocused here, but whatever. Tomorrow